cat, no life is just action. All my just front like they hatching. Ain't no cat, no life is just action. All my just front like they hatching. You already know. Poppin', ain't no stopping me now, steady rockin'. Watch them hate on me now cause I'm locked in. Watch the hate on me now cause I'm poppin'. I ain't stopping.
And the New York Giants are the Super Bowl champs.
In the building, I am your host, Big Lou from GNATION Inside Sports. Hopefully, a few of my guests will hop on here momentarily. You know what I'm saying? But welcome to the Big Blue Lounge and Thursday night football, which is coming back shortly. So, thank you guys for being here. William Horton in the building says, "What's up? What's going on, my brother? Two giant goofballs. What's going on? What's up, everyone? Goofballs are happy to come on again. If you want to share the link, okay, we'll do so in a minute, brother. Thank you very much. Two big, giant, huge, large, fat goofballs. All right." W channel. Appreciate that, bro. Thank you very much. Subscribe to G Nation. Deception in the building. What's going on, bro? Eagles Uncensored. How you doing, my brother AK? Thank you, my brother. Just pushing through one day at a time, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. And that's rare that you see a Giants fan and an Eagle fan, you know what I'm saying, interacting on some love shit. Pause. No homo. You feel me? Next shift in the building. What's going on, my brother? He says, "What's up, Lou? UFC Saturday." Yeah, most definitely, bro. You already know. We also got some good boxing coming for you in the month of July. Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford, July 29th, leather to the face. Make sure you don't miss it. I'm pretty sure Wells will be on there. Big Pat for sure. Joe and a few of the regulars at the Big Blue Crew. I did send the link to a few guys, but my computer's been acting real funny lately. I think I'm going to have to drop some bread on a new computer. But be it as it may, it is what it is, man. Levant's in the building. What's going on, my brother? He says, "Much love and respect to everyone." Thank you, my brother. Always showing love and respect and positive vibes, man. I appreciate that, Levant. I'm tapping in if you cool with that. Yeah, no doubt, brother. You know you good, man. You know what I'm saying? How you doing? How you doing? It's been stressful. Thank you for stopping by. Good to see you. Levance was good, bro. Yeah, as you guys all know, I had a car accident, so shit been crazy. But it's you know. Life is life, fellas. You know what I'm saying? You got to roll with the punches, man. One thing I learned as a fighter from a very young age, you know what I'm saying? You got to roll with that shit. Roll with it. If you can't dodge it or counter it or block it, you better roll with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't let that full thing hit you. You better ease some of that off and come back with yours. You feel me? But anyway, life continues to roll, my brother. You got to do what you got to do. Everybody has fights, struggles, and battles. You know what I'm saying? You keep your head up, try to think your way through it, and never quit. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But let's talk football, guys. Saquon Barkley. The question everybody wants to know, the topic of discussion for most New York Giants fans everywhere, and a lot of football fans that aren't Giants fans, just because when you have a player the caliber of Saquon Barkley, there's no telling how this can end up. My brother from another mother, Coach, in the building. What's going on?
Peace and blessings, brother. How are you, man?
Peace. I'm alive, man. You know, it is what it is. But
good to see you, man. Miss you, man.
Thank you, brother. Well, we're going to see each other soon, October 29th, baby. Make sure you're there. You know what I'm saying? Celebration of life for my boy Jeffy T. May he rest in peace. Big Blue Crew Sports Network block party at MetLife Stadium. It's going to be amazing. Make sure you don't miss it, guys. Okay? For all your information, for travel, hotels, all that, make sure you go to gotravels.com. Okay? Hit your boy NYG22. They got all your travel needs locked down. That's where we went to the draft through. That's where we went through all our sports venues for the Big Blue Crew Sports Network. We'll be through gotravels.com. Make sure you hit your boy NYG22 up. If I got any moderators watching right now, make sure you put NYG and Coach's channel information in the chat for me, please. But thank all you guys for stopping by, man. Welcome to one of the first Thursday night Big Blue Lounges of the season. Even though the season ain't started yet, I'm starting early. It's been a while. I missed you guys. Had to hop on here. Eagles Uncensored said, yes, sir. It's going, taking it day by day.
Mm-hmm.
Dope. Can't wait. Duck, dodge, and weave. Yeah. Earl Spence and Crawford in 2 weeks, brother. 3 weeks. Earl Spence versus Terrence Crawford. Super fight. Fight of the year.
Okay.
Tudo. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, massive salute and respect to El Rey, the G Nation, Big Blue Crew in New York Inside Sports, and all diehard Giants fans in the building. And please stop all stinky boys losers out the door. Forget about it. Wales, what's going on? Charlie Sport, greetings from Cartago, Costa Rica, pura vida. Go Giants. Hey, shout out to Costa Rica, pura vida. Thank you very much. Thank you for stopping by. Greatly appreciate it, man. Please hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up button. And if you make content, I will be subscribing to you as well, my brother. Levance, Wales. All right, catch this chat up. SETI 079. Saquon is a man determined. Facts. And he needs to stay determined to be a Giant. And they'll meet somewhere in the middle. As long as both of them want the same thing, if what everybody's saying is true, we should get a deal done. Joe Shane and Dable say they want him here. Saquon says he wants to be here. There shouldn't be that much dispute. So hopefully we'll get something hashed out here with the deadline approaching in the next 10 days. So we'll see. What you think about that, Coach? I'm trying to catch up these chats real quick.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I just of the mindset that something is going to get done. I mean, it is getting around that time. We got 11 days left, basically. What's up, Wells, Levance, everyone out there? Thank you for the love and respect. I appreciate all of you guys. But yeah, I think something is going to get done. I've never really was too concerned. But again, someone I was talking to someone early, a couple of days ago, and he said, "Remember, Daniel Jones signed at the last minute last year." So, or no, it was it this year. This year, I'm sorry, this year, with his contract extension. So, I mean, it's going to come down to that. I mean, and that's negotiations, man. You try and squeeze everything you can until you get it right where you want it. So. And I don't begrudge either side. I mean, Shane has a job to do. He does. And Saquon and his representative, they have a job to do, and that's what they're doing. They're, in a sense, you want to say, they're in a boxing match. They're jabbing before they really go in, and that's pretty much it. So that's how I see it. So
that's a fact, and I think that they'll be able to work something out. I think that they're going to come to some type of deal that will make them happy.
William Morton. No, I'm going to answer that question. What, week one?
Yeah. Yes, that's why I highlighted it. Yeah. But before I get into that, I wanted to make sure that we did that just do that question. That was something that I definitely wanted to talk about. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Well, that for me, that's one of our 13 wins that we're going to have this year. So yes, right off the bat, I think we're going to definitely handle them. Do I think it's going to be a fight? It's going to be a definite knock them out, grind them out fight. Why? Number one, we're at home. We're tired of Dallas in that regard. Uh, I think that there's a lot of guys on this roster currently that are ready to step up and want to, prove themselves even further. I mean, Evan Neal, we all know, he wants the exact revenge. I mean, he didn't have such the greatest job, greatest time last year against the Cowboys. So, you know what? What better way? And he's coming in there really chiseled, really worked on himself. working on his technique, working on his stance. We all see that. We have the interior of the offensive line. When Saquon gets here, we're going to be able to be an evenly balanced offense. You have Waller. I mean, people can say whatever they want. He is a dangerous weapon. He's going
Coaches
to
out
cause
here,
so many mismatches. So, and then
coach out
defensively,
here firing on y'all.
yes, first of all, didn't we get rated the number one interior defensive line in all the NFL? So that's gonna be a problem, and that's gonna help everyone else defensively. Bobby O, he's gonna help stabilize the linebackers. Don't be surprised if
Every
we
year.
sign
Don't sleep
no, it's
on
not
Beasley.
Not just Darren Beavers, but don't be surprised when we sign another veteran defensive edge.
Linebacker.
So I
Ooh.
mean, if you get Houston or I cannot say his name. He's the African edge guy too. So um, don't be surprised when one of them come in. And those are guys that are going to help Kayvon and Aziz, with their veteran, it's gonna help um, Hadi. It's gonna help all. We're gonna get somebody to come in and really help, and it's gonna help the back end in terms of the cornerback play. So, in Jaffa, thank you, Michael R. But I really think that game one, we're ready. We'll be ready for him.
Yeah, I
Hey,
think
Lou,
week
what
one
about
we
you?
come out. I think we come out the gate strong week one. I think
Hmm.
we get the deal with Barkley done. I think John Michael Smith shows his worth week one. In a prime time game, I don't think the game is too big for him. I think he's a grown man coming straight into the league ready. Um, and I think that people just look at his pass blocking and don't really look too much into his run blocking ability. I think people kind
Hmm.
of overlook that, and I think that's going to be a big mistake for people to overlook his run blocking ability. Because if you pair a center like him with a running back like Barkley, with an offensive mind like Dable,
Well, I
if
mean,
Neil takes, if we all think he's going to take this year,
mhm.
we might have the best offensive line in the league, bro.
Well, I'm going to say this in terms of Schmidt, okay? And anyone knows me, I've studied all the centers that were coming out. I broke them down. Um, Schmidt plays at Minnesota. They are a run-based offense, and if you go watch them, he is extremely proficient in the zone scheme, especially really getting to the outside zone. And he can go from the center spot, the zero spot, and he can reach to a five tech. Now, I mean, I when I saw some of the film, and yes, Minnesota does a phenomenal job in how they attack it, how they pass that off. But when I saw him do that, and then he stepped sealed the outside edge to help the running back get to the outside, that just told me everything I needed to know about him in terms of his run ability. You could say what you want about question some of his run schemes. The only question I would have had is, can he open and
Oh,
pull to get to the outside like Feliciano, like we saw last year? That was the only thing. Everything else, he could do pin and pull. He can down block. He can scoop, he can fold. You name it, he can do it within the basic concept of the offensive line play. So, and I think what he's also going to do, he's actually going to help whoever's on either side of him as a guard. So if it's a Zudo, if it's McKeithen, if it's chicken legs, I mean, if it's Bredesen, for those of you who don't know, chicken legs for me is Glowinski. That's what I call that. So, but he's going to help all of them in terms of get better in their overall play, and that's coming from a rookie because he helps stabilize the center of the offensive line. Peace and blessings, brothers. How are you, man?
Good. How you doing, guys?
All right.
Rob, who is this? I've never seen him before. He's
Rob is the other goofball.
Okay, got you.
I am a ball.
Welcome.
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
All right, looks like he's gonna.
Good, my man. How you guys doing?
I'm good. I'm
What's
good. I'm
going
good.
on, man?
We
Thanks for
literally just
stopping
finished
by.
doing our show. We're like, let's just pop back into G Nation here. Always fun time
All
with
right,
you guys.
appreciate it, fellas.
Cheers, my friends.
What,
Yeah.
Did you guys hear anything we were talking about?
Yeah. So heard talking about Saquon and the blocking and all, and the contract obviously is looming here. And as you see the comment there, we put there. I mean, that's my big hope is Josh Jacobs has to sign soon, dude. Because if he signs, that's the framework for the Saquon deal. Because I don't think any running back is going to get the big money, and whichever one signs that first between Pollard, Jacobs, and Saquon, that's the framework for the two to go at it. And I don't think they're gonna. I don't think Pollard's the guy because of the injury he had. Obviously, in the playoffs there, I think they're gonna let him run in that franchise tag no matter what. So we need Jacobs to go ahead and get his contract signed. So we got that framework to get Saquon back without more people going to his house and yelling at him.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with this guy already, but I also said Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones. He just likes throwing money at
Very
So-
disrespectful, in my opinion. Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I just felt it was like a little.
more than disrespectful. That's on the
I
verge
thought it
of,
was creepy.
complimentary.
I can't lie. I thought it was creepy, man. I like some dude
Seriously.
outside.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
When you grew up, that's a good way to catch a beat down.
Listen, I'm just saying that's a good time for Bobby Okereke to get his first official tackle as a Giant.
Waterboy style.
That's like Gatorade.
You're too bad of a goddess at large.
Rob Johnson, thank you for stopping by. That's you? Somebody
That's
we
him.
That's me.
There he is,
Okay.
the man, the myth, the legend himself.
Just want to see Saquon behind above average line.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I think this offensive line is going to surprise a lot of people. I think
Yeah.
we're going to be one of the top O lines in the league, if not the best.
It's all on Neil.
Yeah, that was one of my comments. You said the best, and I said not the best, but close to it.
Yeah. Tudo, some dude from found Barkley's house and was yelling.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Crazy.
if you follow like Evan Neal on Twitter, if you follow him on any social media platform, you see he's been working out with legends. He's been working out with different coaches, and he's been trying to put the work in this offseason to make a difference because he knew where he was drafted, and I feel like he's got. Drew and I will argue about the Eagle thing, but he's got this. He's got an image he's got to uphold, and knowing where he was drafted, he's got to play better than what he's played this past year. And granted, it's not an easy position to come in as a freshman to the NFL and play a great at that position. So he's really putting the work in to be the great player we drafted.
The fact that he had the injury last year, he was playing the right side of the line when he had played the left side previously to that. And people don't realize that. They think, okay, you move over to the right side, it's the same thing, just in reverse. A lot of playing offensive tackle or offensive line in general is muscle memory. You don't even think, you just do. And when you have to switch your hand, switch your foot, it's a big difference. It doesn't sound like
a big difference,
but it is.
But so the same argument, like everyone that drives forward every day to work, try to drive in reverse to work every day.
I think I get.
You got to make mistakes. Like you do the same thing, but opposite. You got to make mistakes.
I wake up early for work. I make mistakes going forward sometimes.
Because you're a terrible driver.
Let me answer Michael. Michael, yes, he's been on 4 different teams, and I get you in, but I'm not talking about signing him to a multi-year contract. I just need him for 1 year. That's it right now. Give me 1 year. Yeah, you've been on multiple teams, but like you said at the end, he's gotten 8 or more sacks every year. So bring that type of reduction here for 1 year. That's all I want. You're gonna help.
You need to know what that like. So 1 time is fine me.
Yes, yeah, it's fine for me as an edge rusher. Bringing me 8 sacks if you can bring me 8 to 10 sacks, and I'm not even expecting him to be a starter. I just want him to be a productive reserve, because we have guys who, Zimenez and Smith, who were like, huh? What are we really going to get from them? And Hadi, for everything that he brings, we love him. I love him. He's not the type of he's not a sack type of guy. He's more of, stabilize the run and get guys motivated and that toughness. He's the type of guy. You know what? He'll walk up to you and he'll just punch you in your face for no reason. That's the type of dude he is. So, and that's what you want. But
Okay.
in Jaku, go ahead, Lou. What's up?
With that being said, because if you look at all the defensive linemen that we added, do you think that maybe Wink is going away from what he used to do, as he would use the linebackers in the secondary? Do you think he's trying something else? He's going to try to use the linebackers in a different way than what he used to do in Baltimore?
No.
Wink doesn't bend.
So we're
Wink's
all
system is Wink's
all
system.
expecting new linebackers added to the team. Basically,
I mean,
we're all admitting that we're still looking for them to sign another linebacker. Correct?
Another edge rusher specifically, I'd love to see personally, but I don't think a linebacker. I think you're to see, if you're talking middle linebackers, you're talking off ball, then I think they're going to let Okereke do his thing, obviously, and let, Beavers and McFadden and people like that kind of, and Davis all, battle for that second spot overall. I'll tell you a guy I would love to see them bring in, though, that I can't believe he's still out there on the streets right now. Justin Houston, come on down.
Mm-hmm.
You are made to go for the New York Giants this year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's 34, 35 years old, so he just wants to come in and help. He's not looking to start. He just wants to help. He's still productive as an edge rusher. He's if I'm and both of him and got whatever his name is, Ngakwe, thank you, and Houston, I think both played in this system. So it's not like they're not familiar with it. They know how to play. They can even drop into coverage on occasion. So they would fit in. So Houston, if he came in, veteran, he can talk to these guys, tell them, what they need to know to help expand their game and their knowledge of Wink's defense. And, Wink is not changing. No, I don't want him to change. No,
he's not going to change.
I got
right out of Baltimore.
You also want to take some of these veteran players and coach up, just kind of show them what they're doing to these younger players. Like, that goes such a long way. Like, coaching's there, but there's also a difference between a veteran player and a coach to show you how it's done.
When you can add this late into the offseason, a guy that had 9.5 sacks last year, has 111.5 sacks for his career, that's a slam dunk. And I don't think he's going to require a ton of money, considering he's still out there.
I just got to tell this Eagles fan something about himself.
Was that Boo Earns? Or
Boo Earns.
Say what? Boo
Earns.
Look. Be real. I will say one thing as a coach, as a former player. You can't be in that regard. You got to think that I'm the most dominant player on the field. I'm the most dominant coach out there. No one's better than me. Even if somebody beats me, nobody's better than me. So yeah, our offensive line is going to be better than yours. Period. Case closed.
I'll take it.
Hey, listen, man. You already know what I'm saying. 11-6 is the floor. That's the bare minimum.
Okay, he said that's the floor now, because where I'm going.
I mean,
floor.
I'm at 13-4. I'm sorry, I'm at 13-4. So I already had
76 Dolphins all the way.
Listen, I have a shirt that says 11-6. I literally have a shirt that says 11-6.
It's 11-6, yo. What's up, Taj? Yeah, exactly.
That's my prediction for the season. 11-6.
And even bigger, Game 3, we are beating San Francisco in San Francisco.
Woo, that's your hot take.
Look, I can tell you right now, Seattle,
Coach with the hot
we're going to
take.
split with Washington, we're going to split with Philly, and Miami. Those are our 4 losses that I see this year.
You know, Waller did also burn San Francisco last season for 73 yards and a touchdown. Just saying. He had some success against that vaulted defense. You know, plus, of course, obviously, who's going to be their quarterback?
Quarterback, exactly. I want it to be. No, I want it to be. I'm seeing ghosts. I'm seeing ghosts out there. That's who I want to be out there.
Hey, thank you
So
for the
let Sam Darnold be out there.
I think that's a super chat, right? What is that?
Just says Nelson $1.
Okay.
11-6.
It reminded me of RoboCop right now. I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, I buy that for $1.
11 is that's the Michael Strahan. Say it right. 11-6. Believe. That's the Michael Strahan. That's the Michael Strahan.
And it will happen.
It will happen. Exactly.
Listen, I'll take whatever regular season record. I want to
listen,
into the postseason.
I would just be happy to see what they did last year. They had a lot easier schedule. Now they're going to a tougher schedule now. I'll be happy for a repeat of a record from last year because we all thought they're going to go, well, not we all. I actually said they had 8 to 9 wins in them. But a lot of people said last year, oh, they got 4 to 6 wins in them. So if they get 9 wins this year, it's not a reverse of what happened. Mm-hmm. Now they're playing to the schedule. It's a tougher schedule we're coming into. And Philly's had our number, like as much as I don't want to admit, Philly's had our number for close to a decade. It's been hard to beat them. They beat us more than that.
You can call the phone company and change your number. I'm just saying. I think
it's I tried it twice, and it was in Philadelphia, and they denied it.
Look. In the NFC East, we know that that always happens. But guess what? It's
a tough division. Like we have to admit too. Like NFC East was one of the worst divisions a couple years ago, and now it's one of the best again.
Least to beast.
Yeah. So like you can't get upset like if there's a lot of talent in your division and it's hard to beat your division, but you're still making the playoffs.
Look, it would not surprise me if all 4 teams in this division made the playoffs.
Oh, you got the Commanders?
We said that last year. Like it was close to happen last year.
Yeah, I'm just saying it would not surprise me based on the NFC overall if all 4 teams made the playoffs.
I'd be shocked if the Commanders did. I'm sorry, the quarterback situation there is enough to say no.
Or whatever they're calling themselves nowadays. Are they still the Commanders, or they just
they might have to change it. They did lose that trademark battle trying to get.
Are they just the DC douches these days?
Oh my gosh! I don't think they can trademark that name.
You say about that quarterback, and I get you, but go through the rest of the NFC, the contenders.
Well, I mean,
out there.
Yeah.
Because you got San Francisco, maybe Seattle, maybe, and the Lions in the Central. We pretty much are what in the.
So
NFC
look at last year. So look at our schedule last year, right? If you look at it honestly before the year started, you're probably going to look at like maybe a 500 best, right? Did you see us being Green Bay in London? Did you see us being Baltimore the week after? Like most people would say no, but you saw us beating Seattle, you saw us beating the Lions, and look who we lost to, who we won against. Like, it's easy to say off of prior year, but when you make changes, like year after year, you can't say definitively, like, yeah, we're going to beat the Lions, which probably will because half the Lions offense is suspended for gambling on themselves, but but no one thought we were going to beat Green Bay in London last year. So, like, to say confidently we're going to beat one team, or who knows, we could play Miami and Tua has his 15th concussion, and we blow them out of the water. Bridgewater.
No, and that's fair, and that's why I say when I look at the whole conference, it won't surprise me if they made it. But you know what? Am I expecting them to? No, I'm not expecting them to make the playoffs. Washington.
No,
I'm not. But
Washington. I was saying Giants themselves. I think the Giants will make.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Giants will make the playoffs.
If we don't make it after last year, that's got to be looked down as a step backwards for us at that point. There, you got.
So if forwards. I hear what you're saying, but
the Eagles are not going to make the playoffs.
The Eagles,
That's a bold prediction.
Playoffs.
There's
a lot of question marks, a lot more question marks in that roster than people want to say on there. I mean, they had basically redshirt freshmen last year, guys like Jordan Davis and Dean and people like that didn't really play much. That they're expecting to go in and play roles that guys like Hargrave had, and it's like you can't just expect that kind of talent to keep on popping into your roster. No matter how well you draft, you're going to have a 50% hit rate. It's life.
You also the bigger factor is going to be your coordinators. You not only have one, you have two new coordinators, So that's added pressure. So now Nick Sirianni, that's even more intense pressure that's going to be on him to make sure that he gets these guys properly set to handle being the play callers so he can do his job. And then also guys from last year who played and they were used to one coordinator. Now you have to get used to another coordinator. And it's always an adjustment. Everything is an adjustment. So that's going to, and then offensively, their offense has to get used to, a different play caller versus who, they had last year. So all of that adds up. You add it, and then you're taking out certain players. Their right guard. I mean, him leaving. He was, even though he had a tell when he was doing certain things, but he was still a very good player. So you're taking a good offensive lineman away from the best offensive line out there. Well, guess what? That's a key piece. That's a key factor. So, that's what, and you took away your 1,000-yard rusher.
So, in short, answer your question, who do we think is going to beat the Eagles and why? I just gave you two reasons. I gave you a reason. And basically, a bunch of people beat the Eagles. I say the 8-9. 8-10, shit like that. Well, not 8-10, but you know what I mean.
I gotta think the Eagles are still going to be a decent team. They have enough talent still from last year. They're still going to be a good team. They'll probably still get in the playoffs. I just don't expect them to go on a run like they went on the beginning of this past season. We just had. And Coach, you made a great point as far as the losing the coordinators as well. I mean, especially professional stand-in for Pee Wee Herman, Jonathan Gannon, who is just like that man is like, the players talk trash about him on the way out the door. Point blank, they did, especially how he, played the game in the Super Bowl and everything. But that was still a damn good defense that they had. This was like, a record-setting sack defense. This was, pretty much no holes on that defense whatsoever. And you can give it the talent, but part of that has to go to the coach. Part of it has to go to the coach. And you have an offensive-minded, head coach. So now who steps in? I mean, that's the big thing. Now, is there a second guy that you trust with that kind of talent to make them produce like they produced last year?
And I mean, as a Phillies fan, that's what you want to hear. But also, at the same time, as a realistic fan of the NFC East, you're probably going to have three teams fighting to get 11 wins.
Yeah.
10, 11 wins to win the division this year. And there's going to be teams that are going to there might be two teams this year that might have 10, 11 wins high, and there might be the tiebreaker from the divisional games to go as division winners. And then you got the Commanders who will be behind everyone else. But like, don't say like one team in this division is going to blow out the other team. Like, it's going to be a Drew, do it. Dare I say it? It's going to be a nitty-gritty fight
he loves
to
saying
the
nitty
finish.
gritty. He loves it. That man,
Nitty-gritty.
he wakes up in the morning he looks for excuses.
I wake up, I'm like,
nitty gritty.
I need coffee. Nitty-gritty.
Big Blue for Life 57 Ortiz. What's good? He said it all goes down to how healthy we could stay all season long. Let's go Giants. Damn right.
Yep.
And Duran Osman, and their backfield is injury prone. Look at what happened to the Rams. Things happen.
And
Hey,
everyone is going.
Well, that's a little different.
Also remember,
Big Blue Crew, I just
everyone
learned
they
I'm going
play.
to be ill. Oh, well, congratulations. All right. I'm
Congrats.
going to be an uncle.
Congrats.
How old are you,
Congrats.
young man?
Also remember, everyone they play is going to be given a.
He's about
Now they're
17,
stepping
18.
up their level. I'm sorry. What'd you say? What'd you say, Lou? No, I think he's.
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. There's a little bit of a delay, I think.
Yeah. Everyone that they play more than anyone is going to step up there. They're bringing their A game. When you play the Philadelphia Eagles, you're bringing your A game. So that's week after week after week after week after week after week.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to wear on them too. I mean, how are they going to handle adversity? All of that. So, like you guys have been saying, like we've all been saying, I don't expect them to be playing at the level that they played last year.
Nope.
It's just too many factors, too many variables that, for me, says I expect a step down or two from this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's safe to say there. I think the question is going to be with the other guys, how much did they improve or how much did they go down? I think the Commanders go down a peg because of the QB situation. I think the Giants went up a peg because they finally had some money to spend on some actual Joe Shane, Brian Dable guys. But I do think, and I hate to say this, but I do think, even though it's just short-term answer, I think getting, a second, top tier corner and getting a second B tier wide receiver, we'll say, I think Dallas actually improved this offseason as well. Especially because you got to think that Dak is not going to play like he played last year. He was horrible last year at times. That's not the Dak that we've seen for most of his career. He's an above average quarterback. He's not an elite quarterback. I'm not that guy. I'm not saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not as bad as he was last year.
Whack Prescott?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whack Prescott was terrible last year.
Dak Prescott.
Listen,
Whack Prescott.
listen.
You
Here's one
forgot what
thing.
team he played with sometimes.
There's one thing about Dak and Dallas, or two things. First of all, number one, I do not trust Mike
What up,
McCarthy
Jari?
as a play caller. I'm sorry, I just don't right now. I do not trust him. Number two, all right, you could say Pollard and Pollard is a good back. Yes, he's injury prone, but Zeke Elliott was their tough inside running back. Show me who they have right now that is going to be that type of running back to go up inside and get those tough yards that on that team. What's up, bro? Who do you have?
Was Zeke that guy last year? Because he really wasn't. He kind of sucked. No,
He may suck, but no. I'm not saying that.
he was the third and down kind of guy, but he wasn't that player, and it kind of showed in their offense last year.
Well, I think it's safe to say that Deuce Vaughn will not be the third down short
That's what I'm
yardage back.
saying. Who everything that they have right now is predicated more so on quickness, speeds, attacking the edges. I cannot see them in the running game using Pollard consistently to run up inside. So who do they have?
So I've been saying this for a few months now, and I have not been keeping up to date. Has Ezekiel been hired anywhere else besides Dallas?
I'm saying I'm not talking about his talent. What
I
I'm saying
understand what you're saying. So what I thought from the get-go, they realized they have the option out. Both parties do. He got overpaid. I wouldn't be surprised he goes back to Dallas, cheaper contract, and becomes that back.
Okay. Then that's what answers my question then, because if you bring him back, then it helps Dak Prescott, because right now, as they're constructed, unless I'm missing a tough-minded inside running back, or they have somebody that they just signed that I'm missing.
So I think the big thing for me is going to be on that aspect. There is, do they trust a guy like Ronald Jones to play that kind of role?
Okay,
And that's a possible. But I think if there wasn't a guy in camp that they're watching right now, they thought, okay, this guy can do that role. I think Zeke would already be back. Because Zeke, no one, like we said, nobody signed this guy. Nobody wants him. It seems pretty obvious. He gave a list of places that kind of leaked out that he thought had interest in him. And basically all those fan bases all revolted at once saying, why would we want this guy? He's not who he used to be. And he's going to probably want more money than what he should get at this point. I mean, hell, let's be honest. If we could sign him to a veteran minimum, I would say the Giants should take him. He's still got something in the tank. He's just nowhere near what he was a couple years ago.
No, exactly, and that's like number one. The biggest reason is the money, and everyone was expecting him to be more than what he really was. I'm just saying, as an inside runner, because it's a physical wear and tear, and the average fan does not understand. You have 350-pound guys who are hitting you. They're the first guys that are usually hitting you. Sometimes you have to go up against two of those guys at least, I would say, 6 times during the course of a game. Then you bring in the linebackers. You also have your offensive linemen. Sometimes you're running into their backs or they're falling on top of you. So that's what I mean by the wear and tear. Tony Pollard, he's injury prone. He's more of an outside, and he's a speed guy. I'm not saying he can't run up inside on occasion, but there are those times where, 3rd and inches, where everyone knows, for the most part, you're going to have to run up inside to get those tough yards. At least Zeke could get you that. If he's not going to get you a full yard, he could get you a couple of inches in those situations, and that's where I'm looking at. But now, like you just said, Ronald Jones, that's somebody who I'm overlooking. Osman is talking about Darvin Cook. I didn't know Dallas was in on him, but okay. But that's my point. And that's which bookends is saying, goes back to what we were saying about Dak. If they don't have that, does that fall back on Dak? Yes, like you said, he's above average, but are you expecting him to lead them to a championship?
No.
No.
I'm expecting them to be out of the early in the playoffs as always. This is what the Cowboys do. This is what they've been. And as you mentioned, Mike McCarthy, I think you mentioned earlier as well. Again, not a coach that I have much faith in whatsoever. I mean, if you look at this, again, if we take a step back and stop looking at this as Giant fans and look at this just football fans, NFL fans in general, you can sit there and say this is a talented roster that has underperformed in the postseason. Mike McCarthy shouldn't have a job still. Point blank. He's had a couple of years now. He's not the guy.
I agree with
Now, as a Giant fan, I think Mike McCarthy should be given a lifetime contract to be the coach of the Cowboys.
Jerry Jones should never stop trying to.
I think you should make this man the GM and everything. Just Jerry Jones step aside, like Mike McCarthy, get all the groceries, as Bill Parcells used to say.
Jerry Jones made sure that Zeke got paid. Jerry Jones wanted Dak to be there long term. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Jerry Jones is allowed to be there. He was the one that put Tony Roman with a Kevlar vest on. Keep Jerry there.
It went from one choking quarterback to the next. I love it. Keep on choking, guys. Keep on choking.
I want to read something, an article on the power rankings of the offensive lines in the NFL.
Go for it.
It says the biggest question mark might be whether Evan Neal can make a jump in year 2 similar to Andrew Thomas. The Big Blue could shoot up the board if his development continues. The entire starting lineup outside of Mark Lewinsky is 25 or younger and could establish itself as a force for a long time. Now, I've been saying this for a minute. I said if we address our offensive line, and we were a few pieces away, we needed Evan Neal, we needed John Michael Smith. If we establish our offensive line, we can be a force for the next 6 to 8 years. And then if it doesn't work out with Daniel Jones, then at least whatever quarterback you bring in, be seen behind the established line. Thank God we got the Daniel Jones deal done, and we now have our quarterback. and now it looks like we have our offensive line. So if we can work out the Saquon Barkley issue, we're set up for success. We should be in the playoffs the next 4 out of 6 seasons and winning meaningful playoff games and championship games. So
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
just my opinion on it.
Evan Neal is the big, deciding factor in what this line
What
is
up,
going to
Jay?
be. I do think though that expecting him to make an Andrew Thomas leap is probably unrealistic. That's not typical. But I do think if he's even average to above average, that's still an increase. That's still helping. JMS should be better than Feliciano, who Rob will tell you I still flip out over that
Should be.
first DC game. That
Should
still
be.
ticks me off. We should have. Well, here's why I say should be.
Should
Keep in
be.
mind,
Yep.
he's a rookie. You still have to say he's a rookie.
That's
It's
a
gonna take him
grown ass
some time.
man, sir.
But
Pause.
still a rookie. He's never played a game in the NFL.
Just because he's bigger than you doesn't mean he's a grown ass man. Just because he outweighs you by 150 pounds doesn't mean he's a grown ass man. He's just a big ass man. There's a difference. But he's still a freshman in the NFL, so he's going to have some learning curve. So
There's gonna
don't get upset with him in the first 6 to 8 games where he looks like
I'm not
Feliciano
really
and not a stud,
I'm
but
Giant
and then
fans.
he looks better.
We're Giant fans. You play one bad game, we get upset. How many people wanted to cut Richie James after the Seattle game?
There's difference between that. It's like Evan Neal, we still have hope in.
I'm just saying
And
that was
Evan Neal-
one bad game, and we all want let's cut him. Let's cut him. Let's cut him.
Well, that was you, Drew. Not everyone else.
I think Evan Neal has about 5 games before we being like, what the fuck?
No, so like Evan Neal's putting the work in. So like let's not get crazy about it. But like he goes from his freshman year in a tough position, and he goes to looking like average to above average. Like the big step up. And like Brent, I mean, most likely he's gonna have Bellinger by his side, which really helped him in his first 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of looked a little better than what he was.
If
He was definitely below.
if you work hard at anything, you're going to get at least a little bit better. And he's obviously been putting in work in the offseason, taking some training from vets and retired players and working on his stance. You see he's in shape. He looks better and more solid than he did his rookie year, which he should. I mean, he should. But, I just think he's putting in too much work, and he comes from organizations that are about putting in the work. So it would be more shocking to me if he just fell on his face this year. Like it would just go against everything that the teams he's came from stand for and what he's shown. What I'm saying? It would be the complete opposite of that, which isn't very likely. At least I haven't seen it a lot. Somebody that's dedicated, puts in the work, works overtime, and then still comes out and sucks.
I mean, I would say this: if he doesn't have a good second year, I actually think next year he would still end up just being Mark Lewinsky's replacement at right guard.
Yeah.
I think
it's twofold with that. Yes, I can see that, but I'm intrigued to see McKeithen though, because if McKeithen does what I think he is capable of, because I watched his North Carolina tape. I mean that first of all, that's a big man. Number one. Number two, the one thing about McKeithen is when he gets his hands on you in proper position and proper technique, you're done. You're not moving, because the man is as big as Evan Neal for the most part. So yes, you're right. Now he's coming off of that injury, so that's a big factor. So I understand the thought of bumping Neal in and then using him as a backup. But ideally, I would want to see McKeithen step his game, come in, bless you, prove himself, and be that backup. Hopefully by mid-season, he kicks out Glowinski. Let me stop saying chicken legs. He kicked out Glowinski, and then he takes that position, and then you have 2 sound big guys on that right side who will solidify it, and it makes it so much better to run because they can still run outside zone as well as inside zone, and they can work it to perfection. So, and then if they can gel and become a nasty, physical offensive line, it changes everything because now it forces defense to do certain things where you know what? They're going to be nasty and physical up top. We got to bring an extra guy down in the box, which now guess what? That opens up the passing game. That helps, Bellinger. That helps Waller. That helps anybody in the seams because now
Everyone else.
yeah. So when and that's my hope and pray. I pray for, but I'm also
Damn
being
right.
realistic. I know if Glowinski, and to his credit, I will say also this: in the beginning of the season, one thing that I noticed about him is he kept a lot of his eyes on Neil, and that's a veteran who's saying, you know what, let me try and help out my teammate as much as possible. If I can leave, the center alone, because there were a lot of times he would stabilize and then peel off to run over and help him. So I get it. So now, if he's a little bit more comfortable, maybe he can stay and play a lot better. And if he does that, then I, for one, will back off my attack on him of his playing ability. But, I don't think he is. But, we'll see. We'll see.
Snarpington.
Snarf, what's up, brother?
Not much. I mean, based on what I'm hearing, I think we're all in agreement that the main thing that the pundits are saying that the question mark with the team is the O-line, right?
That's a factor.
We have no question about our O-line. We're just wondering if Evan Neal is going to take that big leap. But
well, I meant like he's the question mark in the O-line.
Yeah.
I would say he's more the variable in the O-line.
Yeah, I mean, JMS is a rookie, so even though we expect him to be a plug and play, we know there's going to be some growing pains and a learning curve there. So the O-line is not contingent on Evan Neal. You still have a rookie center. You have a second-year tackle. So, and then you have still trying to figure out who your guard is going to be. So, I mean, there's a few factors there. You can't put it all on Evan Neal, but that's the big name that everybody's looking to see if he's going to make that second-year leap.
And he plays a prime position. That's why, because it's a tackle.
Yeah, of course.
Even if it's a right tackle, it's a prime position. Yep. So, yes, I get where you're going, Snarf. But he's a piece. Because remember, an offensive line is like your hand. Everyone has individual aspects with your finger until you put it together, and then when they play collectively, they can punch you right in your face. I was already cursed. I'm sorry. And when they punch you, it's great force behind it. So, and it's strength. So, that's the thing about an offensive line. So,
we like the 5 on the fist, 4 to 5 organized like this.
Okay.
Well, and then there's the Barkley deal. Is he going to sign or is he not?
Of course he's going to sign. Nobody wants to leave the New York Giants franchise, bro.
If he's smart, he signs because
nobody wants to leave the New York Giants.
You got to look at also his injury history. If he gets one more injury, does he have any long-term contracts coming next year?
And then again, we didn't want OBJ to go, but what happened? Gettleman cut him, and we shipped him out to Cleveland.
For the record, I wanted to
look how he did in Cleveland.
Yeah. Look who. Yeah.
But wait a minute. You said the magic word, Gettleman.
I don't think Gettleman's ever been called a magical word before.
Hey, look who it is.
More like an evil spell.
Yeah. Listen, Barkley will play great next year, no matter what happens. I've been talking about this since the whole ordeal happened. This guy is either going to prove he needs a contract because we just signed him to a franchise tag, or he's going to play his goofballs off, showing the fact that he just got paid. Either way, this guy is going to play hard.
I think he's definitely a man in a mission. I definitely think he feels slighted by the Giants the way this whole thing's gone down. I would still love to hear the actual numbers being given to him as far as how many years, what kind of guarantees, what kind of bonuses, because it's hard to have an opinion on whose side even take on this, the Giants or Barkley, without knowing those details.
It's like
and they're both playing so nicely,
math.
We don't know.
Not enough information. You got them.
That's
where we're at.
Math problems in third grade. That was
listen,
not enough information.
You know, you keep hearing $13.5 million, but it's like if he was just given, let's say hypothetically, a 4-year deal at $13.5 million a year, and like half the money was guaranteed, he probably signed that in a heartbeat.
In a fucking New York man.
So there's obviously other variables to it that we don't know, and we don't necessarily need to know. That's between those two parties right now. But I'd love to hear
4 or 5 years guaranteed. It's a little different when you're 26 years old as a running back who's had some tough years behind you and mileage behind you. Or does he just want $16-17 million a year for 2-3 years? Does he want to make his pretty much a nut in 3 years, or does he want to extend it for like?
Well, I mean, he also knows
over the course, like it's a big difference, and I don't want to sign either one.
And we all know, as he knows as well, he's already had 2 injuries, major injuries, right? So he knows the for running back is short, and he knows this is his last opportunity for a money grab. His career is over because, like you said, one more major injury, it's over. He might get a year deal somewhere else, 1 year proven deal somewhere, but it'll basically be over after that.
2 years at most in that.
But he's smart too, because like, what other market can you go to and play for better than the New York market, where you can make more money in advertising, more money in different commercials? Like, this is the best market, unless he's going to play for the LA Rams, because they might pay like, a little more in advertising. But they're not going to pay him.
I don't think the Rams.
They don't have the cap.
I don't think the Rams are paying a running back anytime soon again. I think they've learned their lesson.
Yeah.
They don't have the cap. Look what they've been kicking the can down the line for how long? Like, they're not gonna have money to pay him.
Yeah, and
guaranteed.
I mean, if you went to Miami or something, I don't know.
Well, Miami, I still think is going to get Dalvin Cook in the end. I still think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because Cook wants to go there. It's pretty obvious.
What's going on, Uncle Joe?
But guys, I do have to run. It's been real. I appreciate you guys having me on.
See you, man.
See you, Rob.
Good. Till next week. Let's go. Let's go, Big Blue. Dream on.
Amen.
Joe.
You there, brother?
Come on, goat. Say something.
So, Joe.
You there, Joel?
Joe.
What? There you go.
Oh, there he is.
All right, there he is.
What's up, brother?
Not much. Never in there.
Sitting there pretty quiet like a stalker. What's going on there, buddy?
Yeah. Like he's like crawling up on Saquon's house.
He's on that mannequin again.
Was that you?
Goes on that gosh darn mannequin again. What'd I tell you about messing with that mannequin? Running back market is sinking. We saw what happened to Bell. I'm not saying Saquon totally caved, but 14 mil or sit it out, in my opinion.
Oh, he ain't sitting out no matter what.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be very smart. I don't see what the what the point would be. Like, it's nobody, like, literally.
You refuse to play under the franchise tag. Nobody's gonna want to negotiate with you after that. So, because then it's gonna look like you're greedy. So, it would behoove you to come to some type of agreement if you can't play under the franchise tag and make them regret that they have to come back to the negotiating table with you, because now you're gonna demand a high penny. So, that's my advice. I mean, and try not to get hurt, brother.
To me, honestly, you can look at the franchise tag as the way to start the framework up. You can look at it as do this first year, do the second year, guarantee both those years, add a third year on at like $14-15 million just to make the number seem higher. And that's not guaranteed. That's not at all guaranteed. And then let's take it from there. That's why I'm a bit confused why this is taking so long to get done to a certain degree. Yeah. The framework is there. It's either sign this or we're going to tag you for 2 years and deal.
Yeah,
well, I think it's more of, a lot more of the guarantee in that third year. I think that's really what it boils down to. How much of that third year are they going to guarantee? Because right now, if you tag him 2 years, that's 22 mil basically.
Yeah.
That's right now. He's getting 22 mil basically for 2 years. So minimum. So now if you put in certain incentives for this year and next year, that can up it up, that can bump it up. You know, you want to get it to 14, okay, but make it incentive based. And I think probably that aspect that might be a hindrance based on because if it's 10 now, what is it, 10-1? So if you want to get to 14, you got to have $4 million in incentives. That's a lot. So you know you might haggle over that. But now on that back end, on that third year, how much of that are you going to guarantee? Are you only going to guarantee a couple mil, or let's just say it's average out across 3 years, 14 mil of that third year? You know, let's just say, are you going to guarantee 10 mil of it? Are you going to guarantee 7 mil of it? Or are you going to
0.
guarantee? See, there you go. And
I'm not guaranteeing any of a third year and a guy with a huge injury history that's going to be close to 30 at that point.
So then I would want more guarantees on the front end. Then I would want less incentives and a little bit more on the front end. Because if you, I get you worrying about the back end. I get it.
I would fully guarantee those 2 years. I'd have no problem fully guaranteeing those 2 years.
So if it's
anything past that, I would not.
But see, the question is, are you going to only going to go 22 for?
Oh yeah, no, I'm going 22.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So if you want to average, say 14 over a 3-year period, if those first 2 years are at 14 as an average, are you guaranteeing the extra 4 mil or whatever it is, 2 mil on the second year? No,
I wouldn't even give him that kind of contract. The Giants
hold
hold all the cards because of this tag. Like it or not, because it's not necessarily fair to a running back who, let's be honest, if he played quarterback, he'd be getting $40 million a year this offseason. Now we're talking about him maybe getting 40 for the whole contract, if he's lucky and plays the whole thing out.
And that's what it boils down to. So but, I agree with you. To me it's the guarantees. It's the guarantees and the incentives more than anything.
And if you don't like it, that's fine. Play the tag. If I'm the Giants, I have no problem with the guy who's injury prone, coming off his second best year as an NFL player, playing out in the tag, and then revisiting this next year. I have not a single issue with that whatsoever.
And so do you think that'll affect Saquon's play? Do you think he'll play harder, or do you think he'll be just like a disgruntled employee and be down in the dumps? I mean,
if he's playing on the tag, he's going to play hard. Because if he doesn't, then guess what? They have even more reason not to pay him.
Yeah, if he just goes through the motions, they're going to cut him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not to mention, if there's one thing, because we're talking about this from a business aspect, but if you look at it from a personal aspect, everything you always hear about Saquon is very positive as far as who he is as a person. And he's going to want to still fight for his teammates. He's going to want to fight for the team still, regardless of his issues with, Shane and company and the contract situation at that point. He's still going to want to push hard for Daniel. He's still going to want to push hard for Shep. He's still going to want to push hard for the guys who are on the team with him. So I'm not worried about his play whatsoever. And I agree with what you're saying, Coach. And I think that it's going to come into his mind. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's going to affect how he plays. I think he'll still play hard.
Yeah, I don't either. I think he'll play. First of all, he's a professional. Mm-hmm. Remember, in that interview, he said he's a professional. So no matter what, he may not like it, but he understands the business aspect of it. So it's just that the bottom line is this is contract negotiation. He's pushing for one thing, the Giants are pushing for the other. Like you said, the Giants hold a certain element of the they don't have complete, because remember, the player is an independent contractor, so he can still. We're saying it's a bad move, but he can withhold his talents. So that is a card that he can play to his benefit. We may not like it, we may think it's a bad move, but in the Giants' regard, then are we going to go with? Are we going to say great is the bell cow? Are we going to say breeder? Are we going to go with Brightwell? So now it also changes the offense. It really does. So in that regard, it's like, okay, we're gonna run with what we got, but you know what? Barkley is an important piece to the whole offense.
So let's just say in the world that Saquon, all that stuff happens and Saquon sits out. He does the Le'Veon Bell. He wants to sit out. Mm-hmm. Who do you think would be a good fit for the team, and that could be productive enough to actually? Now, of course, you're not going to be Saquon, but at least put up some numbers close.
We don't have the money. We don't have the money because no matter what, you tag Saquon. I don't think. That $10 million. I mean, yes, he loses a portion of it every game, but you're not going to be able to go out and sign like a Cook. You're not going to be able to sign a Cook. for X amount of dollars. So you're either going to go with what you got, or you're going to try and find another veteran guy you're going to get dirt cheap.
That's what I'm saying. Kareem
I'm gonna give
Hunt.
you an odd option with that scenario. And I hate to ever kick the can down the road, and Joe Shane's been pretty adamant against not wanting to do that. But you'd have to kick some of Leonard Williams into a void year for next year, and you go after a guy like Kareem Hunt.
Yes,
and I like Kareem Hunt. I mean, he's a little. He gets injured a lot, like his groins, and because he's he's a cutty. He's a cutty kind of running back, if that's even a term. But you know what I mean.
Yeah,
he's
a great player. I just don't like him as a person, and that's my concern. Is what kind of personality you putting him into that locker room?
Didn't he? He was kind of a problem over there with Cleveland. That's probably
a problem everywhere.
Yeah,
but for 1 year, he can probably behave.
Yeah.
I don't think Barkley will sign a guarantee less than third year.
That's fine.
I know they're going to bring it down to the freaking wire. It's going to be July 17th, and then they're going to announce it.
I agree. What's going on, Mr. Frank Waiters? He said, let's kill this injury prone. He had one major injury, the knee. The other was a high ankle sprain. Negotiations start high, and you meet someone.
I totally agree.
See, I would disagree because of the fact that, we're talking about the multiple injuries. Obviously, he's had injuries basically every single season except that rookie year. You got not just the ACL, which is the big one everybody wants to talk about. He had the shoulder injury last year towards the end. And you can say, as far as the blocking, you can still say Neal, maybe Bellinger affected some of his play as well, those guys being out. But he did have that stretch where he was injured and wasn't playing as well. He's had injuries basically every single year.
I don't think that you're going to get banged up, especially playing the running back position. It's not wide receiver or something like that to where you're not getting hit a whole bunch of times where it's actually illegal to hit you. Your shoulder getting banged up, that's going to happen. But injury prone to me is like something like, oh, well, he always has the same thing. Like he keeps on re-injuring his knee, or this knee hurts, then that knee hurts. Like he stepped on somebody's foot. It was a freak accident. It wasn't something like he was cutting or making a move and his joint just gave out. He stepped on somebody's foot. I mean, he hurt his shoulder because he was running more forward this year instead of cutting and going side to side like he was every other year. So, you're going to get banged.
He had to lower his shoulder because he was still coming back from an injury.
And he's trying to become more of a north and south running back. I don't think he's injury prone. I think he plays hard. I think he's strong, and I don't think he's injury prone. He played through it. The reason why his play went down is because the whole scheme kind of changed. Like they started passing the ball and being more pass heavy a lot more, and they wasn't really going to the ground game. Now, was that because he hurt his shoulder? Was that because the Lions kind of stuffed him, and they kind of figured out a way for it to kind of bottle him up? I don't know. I'm not in the meeting rooms, but but I don't think he's injury prone.
No, you made a great point, Jayla. I think teams in the second half of the season said, that's what we have to do when. You have to pretty much take Saquon as best you can away and, rely on seeing what DJ can do. And, DJ, for the most part, held his own down the line. It's not like remember the season before when we had what's the two enigmas at quarterback playing. You saw how valuable Daniel Jones is, so it's and DJ held his own going down the line the second half of the season, which helped us get into the playoffs. People can say he didn't or whatever. You can hate on him, but Daniel Jones was a key factor for us getting into the playoffs last year. So, and that's what, that's what the rest of the league was really trying to see. What can Daniel Jones do? And especially with the level of wide receiver talent that we had in comparison to other teams.
Or rather, lack of wide receiver talent in our case.
I feel like I could have played on the team.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who probably could have played a whole lot better, especially than Mr. One touchdown Galladay for that big contract.
When you consider
like a bad dream.
When you consider how bad our receiver core was last year.
Yeah.
Here, essentially, Daniel Jones was basically having to make do with a receiving core that couldn't catch. He couldn't throw as much as he had to do, and it was basically him and Barkley relying on their legs 7, maybe even 8 times out of 10 most games.
Oh yeah.
Yo,
Well, remember he still threw for 3,200 yards, so it's not like he threw for 2,500 or 2,000 yards. He still was productive. I mean, Jalen Hurts, for that matter, people to say what they want. He threw for what 3,700 yards. Daniel Jones wasn't really that far behind him. So, and he had way better talent at wide receiver. So for Daniel Jones to do what he did, that shows how productive he was last year with the level of talent, to what we're all are arguing. I'm sorry, is that Pat?
Yeah.
yeah, what's going
Yeah.
on, coach?
What's up, bro? How are you, man? Been missing you, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back into it here real soon. Just gotta get
No
some things.
doubt.
But yo, he only threw for what 3,700 or 3,800 yards. Remember, AJ Brown and Smith, all those guys were healthy for the whole year.
True.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's why it's like when people kill Daniel Jones and he sucks, and we sit. Everyone says the same thing. He didn't have great receivers, but he threw for 3,200 yards, and Jalen Brown, for everything, he was in the MVP chase, and he ran for XYZ. Daniel Jones ran for 700 yards and threw for 32. I mean, all right, Jalen Hurts threw for 500 yards more or 600 yards more, but he also had, we all will say it, he had a better plethora of offensive talent around him. So for him to do that and Daniel Jones to do what he did, come on, man. I mean, you can't, if you say anything else, you just really hate the man. And just say that. I just hate the man. I don't like him. I don't want him as my quarterback. I'm cool with that. But to say that, he's not talented, that's a hard sell for me. El
Man,
Capitan, Vaso.
Oh, hey.
yo, coach, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, bro. Go ahead.
Hey, to say Daniel Jones is not talented is just so stupid, man. You gotta think, man. This man had a lackluster receiving core, and they were getting hurt last year. Think
Mm-hmm.
about that. So I can't wait to see what he can do with a decent receiving core this year. With Darren Waller, man, you got Slayton talking about he's gonna be the number 1 receiver. Man, this is gonna be crazy, man. I can't wait to see it.
That
Exactly.
will be. It is going to be
And
crazy.
and don't forget now, we can now push the ball down the field. What was everyone saying that Daniel Jones did so well his rookie year? The deep
Throw the ball
ball.
down.
He could throw the ball deep downfield. Slayton was his number one, and everyone loved Slayton and him and that combination. Well, guess what? Slayton, you have Paris Campbell, you have Hyatt. You have speed to push the ball down the field to stretch defenses, and then you could still have Waller work in the intermediate areas. He could still work the seam. He's still fast enough. You have guys. Hodgins can work the intermediate area. Look what he did coming in. So it's like, and now if when we get Saquon back, him coming out of the backfield, I want him one on one with a linebacker or a safety. I want him. I want him. And everyone killed him. And one of you guys just said it. He has something to prove. Number one from the Giants, and number two, people, and we're questioning him. He had what 7 drops last year, so he has something to prove too.
Here's the
And you
question,
could,
though, Coach.
yes,
What are
sir.
these receivers going to have in their hands this year? Glue or butter?
I just hope they
I
get.
have faith. I have faith they're going to go out and do their jobs. I'm not going to be pessimistic. I can't. I cannot think like that. I have to be optimistic because if as a coach, if I think pessimistically about my team, then I just don't have faith and I don't trust them. And I'm not. I'm talking from a coach. I'm just saying that I'm not trusting what I have, and I don't think if I'm in that locker room, they're gonna feel that. Now, as a fan, I get where you're going, but I'm still gonna be a homer. Call me a homer. I'm going to be optimistic. Whatever you want to say, I'm going to believe in the guys that we have here, and I believe and I see it. And I also think Harris Campbell, they're going to use him the same way San Francisco is using Debo Samuel, not to the same magnitude, but in certain aspects, it's the same thing that they're going to do, which is going to help the offense.
I'm with you, coach. That receiver screen with Paris Campbell gonna be
Mm-hmm.
dope. And I'm gonna say
It's
this. I'm go ahead. I'm my bad, coach.
no, go ahead, go ahead, no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm gonna say this, man. Early prediction. I think Slayton might get 1,000 yards this year.
Ooh, that's a deep
I
one right
think
there.
Slayton might get 1,000 yards this year because Waller opens up that field just that much. And those catches across the middle are going to be a little bit more wide open. And he has the speed to get past the people and turn those
The,
15-yard catches to 30, maybe even 40. Hell, maybe even a touchdown if Waller has 2 or 3 people on him. I'm telling you, man, Paris Campbell with the hey, that's dope, Lou. I like that. Um, Paris Campbell with the receiver screens and getting open in the middle of the field. And then when Wandale Robinson gets back healthy, Shepard gets back healthy, we have to where we can have a receiver at full strength at all times this year. I think that's what they're doing.
So I got a question in that regard. Now, is Wandale Robinson going to be a backup, right? Or is he going to be a gimmick receiver? Because we're
I
not
think
getting rid of him.
yeah, you can't get rid of him. He's a second round pick. I think
That's what I'm saying.
Wandale Robinson will have to work his way back in slowly if Paris Campbell is balling.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Paris Campbell is balling, he can do the same things Wandale Robinson can do, but faster.
Can he
You know
also
what
do
I'm
the same to
saying?
Daniel? Can he also do the same to Daniel Bellinger?
Yeah, but we talking about the receivers right now. Dan Bellinger is going to get in where he fit in the run game and coming out the backfield and catching those 5-yard passes, turning them into first downs because nobody's paying attention to him.
I was just about to
Split
say,
zone.
I think he's going to
Split
catch a
zone,
lot of
yep,
passes because
split.
people going to sleep on him. Yep.
He's that security blanket too. Whenever Daniel Jones rolls out, that's the guy he seems to look for in those scenarios too. Because he just recognizes it and it gets open.
I can see Bellinger getting about 25 to 30 catches with about 4 touchdowns because when you're in the red zone, that's the guy you're not really going to pay attention when you're in the red zone. So he might be our top red zone threat this year over the middle of the field because he has that big body. He's turned into a beast, man. That dude, I don't know what weights that man been lifting this offseason, but when it
He was
comes to
big
getting
last
those
year.
grimy 3rd and 4s and stuff like that, I think Bellinger's going to be the guy.
He was big last year. He just got more cut this year.
Now, I think you bring up a good point with the touchdowns, though, with Bellinger, because if you look at Waller, the one thing you can sit there and say, even during his better years with the Raiders and all, is besides 2020, his touchdown totals weren't that impressive.
They weren't.
He had 3 in 19, he had 2 in 21, he had 3 last year, he had 9 in 20. That was his one impressive year. He was not the guy that you were getting touchdowns left and right with.
I think Tyler is going to beat Canelo. Sorry. Go ahead, guys.
No, it's because Goofball, he gets so much attention, man. Yeah. When he goes into the red zone, you have to pay attention to him. When you put him on the outside, they got to press up on him and make sure you can't do that loft pass to that fade to the end zone and let him catch it. And so he's going to command like double cover. So somebody like Bellinger, who's athletic enough to beat a linebacker almost every time, I truly believe he might get 5 to 6 touchdowns this year.
At this point, as big as he is, he's just going to pick a linebacker up and toss him across the field. As big as this guy is, with his arms right now going on. But I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying with Waller. But at the same point, you can sit there and say that's the case for Kittle, that's the case for Kelsey, that's the case for all the top flight tight ends out there. They get that much respect to the end zone. They still get it done. Waller didn't.
They scheme. I'll answer this. I'll let everybody go. My bad. But the thing with Kelsey and Kittle, they scheme those guys predominantly in the red zone. When Kelsey gets in the red zone with the Chiefs, the whole scheme is really to get him in the end zone. And so they do certain things. They run little slant routes to cut people off to get him in the back of the end zone against a DB. And let's just be honest. With Kelsey's the best tight end in the game. You're not going to stop him. I think Mark Andrews is better than Waller as well. You're not going to stop those guys in the red zone. They're going to find ways to get those guys in position to get those touchdowns. I think they know how to box out people a little bit better than Waller because of their frames. It's just that Waller is so tall and fast. He's basically another receiver to me.
He's what
not
we
the
needed.
Go ahead, Lou.
Go ahead,
Lou.
Lou. I think
Well,
he's in the
basically,
matrix.
what I was saying was, is Waller is like another receiver,
Nice.
and when he's out there, you scheme against him like a receiver to take him out. It's just Kelsey, man. You can have great coverage on him, but his frame just allows him to box people out. You remember Antonio Gates? That's how Antonio Gates was. You knew the ball was coming to him, but if you left him one-on-one coverage, who's gonna cover him? He's too fast for your linebacker. He's too big for your safeties and cornerbacks. Not going to out jump him because he had a basketball background and he was boxing out linebackers like that. So that certain guys, man, and when they get in the red zone, it's almost like, damn, what we gonna do?
You can say the same with Kittle, but the difference is Kittle's focused more on using his power attack, isn't he?
I hear you, Lou. I hear you, Lou.
Okay. What I was saying was Waller is what we needed Kenny Golladay to be with his old bitch ass.
Well, I will say this too, because based on everything we were talking about earlier, when you get into the red zone, there's certain different ways that you can still scheme him open. Because, for instance, all right, you can go with a tall lineup. You can go with Hodgins if Colin Johnson is here, Waller and Bellinger. That's that. Who is the defense really? And they just let DJ sit back and decide his pre-snap read. Where's the mismatch, and that's who you're attacking. Because every defense is not going to have the ability to cover across the board receivers that are literally 6'4" and up. So now you're going, which is now going to say, well, who are they going to give safety help to if they need to, or who are they going to put their best pass defender on? Okay, well now whoever's that fourth is going to, and which goes back to what we were saying about Bellinger. Now, if Bellinger is starting to eat, especially early in the season, defenses are going to somewhat adjust to him because they don't want to keep letting him eat every game, and then that's going to open up for a Waller, for a Colin Johnson or a Hodgin or whoever that you put out there. And if you want to flip it around, you can go little quick guys for some aspects and still have Waller out there because he's still quick enough to do certain things. You've seen what he's doing during the OTAs with the little quick movement, quick actions, stop running the whips as a 6'7" guy. So he could still be out there with quick guys, and it still allows him to capitalize. They're going to scheme him in that regard because that's the other thing. I don't think Oakland, Vegas used him properly. I really don't. I don't.
Especially last year.
And I think Kafka, Dable understand that, and they're going to scheme. And then this is the one thing about our offensive coaching staff: they're smart. They know how to scheme guys to capitalize. And one of the split zone and with Wandell motion attacking the flats, a little whip. I mean, it's then you get Barkley into the fray. It just causes so much in the red zone, especially if you're in that 10-yard window. Even though it's congested, it's still so many open windows there that it's just gonna. And for me, I'd rather, if Waller gets you 5 touchdowns, Bellinger gets you 5 touchdowns, especially in the red zone, but other guys are getting you 5, 6, 7 touchdowns across the board, you have multiple guys with that. That also goes to, DJ is throwing that rock around the right way. And, he's going to be getting heavy touchdowns, not just in the red zone, down the field.
Well, let me rock real quick with you, Coach, on this aspect of the Giants built this year. I truly love the way he's building his team. I think they're building this team to where they can attack you in 2 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
spread you wide open with Campbell, Slayton, Robinson, Hyatt. They can spread you open, pause,
Pause.
or they can go straight at you with Bellinger, Waller, Hodgins, and people like that in the red zone. A lot of people are going to be stupid again this year. I think Daniel Jones, he might throw 20 touchdowns this year, but I think he might get 8 to 10 rushing touchdowns again this year. And I think Barkley's going to get 8 to 10 rushing touchdowns again this year. Because if we get on the 5-yard line, I don't see no explanation why we don't line up in a big set and just attack you straight forward with those hogs at the offensive line, Bellinger blocking at the tight end. You could put an extra tackle in there. We could put a Zulu as an extra tackle and just bully you into the end zone in most aspects. Unless you're somebody like the 49ers or somebody that can line up and stop you like that, or somebody like the Eagles, if that boy from Georgia is healthy, the defensive tackle, to see if he can get in there and ruin some stuff. Maybe the Jets as well with the Williams boys out there. So,
Georgia tackle? The half their team is Georgia tackles.
Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a formidable opponent down there, man, in the trenches. That's going to be hard to just bully those guys. But I truly believe that Daniel Jones is going to have another year to where his numbers are not going to be like Mahomes or anybody. If he doesn't throw 40 touchdowns this year, everybody's going to bash him. But he may throw 23, 24 touchdowns and maybe 10 runs, because you can use Daniel Jones as a battering ram too. That play against the Lions,
I'd rather he run the sweeping routes into the end zone than the battering ram. I'd like to keep our quarterback healthy for as long as
not necessarily like a Cam Newton. I'm talking about like what he did against the Lions, the first touchdown that we got before everybody got hurt. And when he did, when he get off tackle and ran it in there, he can do that as well. And then let's say we do spread you out in the red zone and you got everything covered, but you don't have that linebacker or that safety spine on Daniel Jones. He just takes off into the end zone. I think you're going to see a lot of that this year, and people are going to bash him again. But, hey, look, as long as we get that dub, I don't care what goes on. I think people like Slayton, he may get his 800 yards, but may only get about 2 or 3 touchdowns. And the touchdowns are going to come from people like Bellinger in the red zone because you're not paying attention to him. Or somebody like a Cager that could come in as the third tight end. Yep, Hodgins as well. Hodgins, he has a knack for getting in the end zone too. He has a knack in the end zone to be a big guy. So, I mean, what you think about it, Lou?
I think we're gonna whoop some ass, point blank. Period. I don't like to get off technical and shit. I say we're gonna go 11-6. I think we get the deal done with Barkley by the deadline. I don't think he's gonna play under the tag. I think we're gonna get a deal done within the next 10 days. And I think that JMS is going to be a straight up dog. I think Evan Neal is going to take that leap beyond what everybody expected. And if we can figure out the guard situation, we're going to be a running first team for the first 4 weeks.
That is an interesting statement, Jordan.
Maybe we can for our first game. Maybe we can intimidate Brett Maher into regressing back into the Charlie Brown he was in the final 3 games Dallas played.
Javarius Owens starting at the safety position.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, if we run that big safety set, I can see him playing. I can see him in, what's the guy we drafted last year fighting for playing time?
Oh, Dane Belton? Yeah,
Belton.
I think
Belton. You got
McKinney.
What's his name? You just brought over from Washington.
Oh yeah, McCain.
Bobby McCain.
Yep.
Bobby
Don't forget
McCain.
too, you got McLeod as well, also
McLeod,
converting to safety as well.
Playing the safety, so that's why it was just, I mean, I get it. He makes a lot of sense. He's built for Wink's defense, so it's I just right off the bench.
And he ain't out four-wheeling and shit before a big game. That counts.
I think honestly, you're going to see a lot of 3 safety sets there.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna really be obviously McKinney, but I think it's going to be McCain and McLeod as well. We're going to have like the mixed safeties basically at that point, and it's going to be like, people doing the McDonald's theme song every time they go on the field together and everything. But it's going to be that kind of way to go. But I think Owens is going to get some time He's looked pretty good from everything, all accounts there, as far as in training camp so far. And every single time you read what the Giants staff writes, and obviously, listen, the Giants staff has their bias. They have their spins they have to put on to told them above to do. But every single time you look at top plays, Owen's name's in there every single practice. Every single practice. You don't expect that from a guy drafted that late.
Yeah, I think McLeod can actually have a good season this year too, because I think we're gonna be used in a position that he needs to play. He doesn't
do Love
out there in the slot corner trying to run with AJ Brown or anything like that. But when he plays around the line of scrimmage, asks him to cover in short areas, he's pretty damn good. And I think they'll be able to use him, Owen, Bolton, and Bobby McCain in that.
You got to talk into the mic. You moving the phone around or something. Because your voice is getting far and then close and far.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, real clear.
Good.
But I think they'll be able to use all three, four of those guys in that aspect. I really think we're going to have an attacking defense this year, the way Wink really wants that defense to attack, and we're going to get some people off the field because that boy Deonte Banks allows us to put somebody in the slot that could get somebody off the fucking field and not give up 3rd and 14s and 3rd and 15. First, you're not going to get that much time to throw it like you were last year. And secondly, I think we'll have somebody like an Aaron Robinson or somebody right there in the slot to be able to at least make the tackle. And on 3rd and 9, you only get about 5 yards because you got to get that ball out faster. And I'm looking for Thibodeau. I'm looking for Thibodeau to have a big year too.
So I think you're going to see like McLeod, McCain, and people like that actually in the slot, and I think it's going to play into Week's defense because he's going to throw them in his blitzers half the time as well, and you're not going to know what they're lined up as. Are they going to drop back and become an actual safety? Are they going to go ahead and rush the passer? Are they going to actually just be a traditional slot corner and just cover the guy there? There's so many options with these guys. They are this, and they even use the term with McLeod during the, the press conferences. Brian Dable called him a Swiss Army knife. It's the exact same term they use for Julian Love. McLeod is the new Julian Love. And we'll see if he can live up to that kind of, playmanship like Julian Love had last year because he had a pretty decent year for us. But they're setting him up.
What the hell? Who's whispering?
That's what telling me. I'm like,
I thought I was tripping. These voices in my head are getting loud, man.
That was the guy. That was the guy warming up to go to Saquon's house later. Just sign the contract.
This is what we're gonna do to Dallas week 1.
Oh man!
Oh, he got the drops for him. He got the drop.
Right. Oh, you got a soundboard now?
Yeah.
How about we just pull the football?
And I like the new background, Lou. The big blue background.
I'm not done yet.
No, I feel it though. It's coming along though. I see you.
Listen, if you need some Giants tchotchkes, I can tell you a good
And
place
I
to
told
go.
Pat I was gonna do that. I got this at the draft.
Oh yeah.
How about we just pull the football away from Brett Maher every time he tries to kick it, and then let him go flying on his back? I'll let Charlie Brown.
Snarf, you're the first to go to the gulag in the new background.
How about we knock that quick ass to the ground? That's what we do.
Huh? Say what?
Alrighty, guys. I got a call tonight. I still haven't had dinner yet. I went away from work to shooting our show and then on to here to talk to you guys here. So appreciate you guys having me on again.
No problem, brother.
Take it easy.
Appreciate you coming on and giving your take, brother. Have a good one.
No problem. Anytime, man.
See ya.
What happened to Pat?
I don't know. Did you put him in the gulag?
No, I put myself in the gulag. No, I didn't. I put Snarf in the gulag.
Snarf is on the panel.
Snarf did the
I know. I brought him back.
Oh, okay.
I brought him back.
Okay. I guess Pat probably maybe he's at work. Maybe he's at work and he had to go. I don't know. So.
Oh, okay. I mean, damn,
So,
Pat.
I think Kenneth is going to have.
I got an early day tomorrow.
Oh, there they go. They're all bailing out. Look at it. Look
I
at a
gotta
bunch
get
of
up
woke.
early. And then I work outside too, man. It be killing me, boy. I get to sleep late. But I'm gonna holler at y'all though, man. When the next
I
time
work outside. I be building shit and fixing shit out there in the heat.
All right, look, I'll stay on till 11 o'clock.
It is 11 o'clock. Oh, you in? That's right. You in Texas?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, you Central Time.
Pinnock,
You
I
in the
think,
mood.
is in trouble. Pinnock is probably is in trouble to probably be cut because we just went through five different safeties before we got to him. You got Belton, you got McLeod, McKinney, McCain, um, Owens, and then Pinnock. So it's
Javarius Owens.
Javarius Owens. So Pinnock might be getting cut. I mean, and I like Pinnock too.
Yeah, I think he's the odd man out though.
He's the odd man out because based on everything else, the two guys are really stepping up over him. Where last year he did play well. He did perform well. He did play well, but if other guys are coming in and taking your job, see, and that's the thing. You don't let another man come take your job, man. You step up and you fight for yours, and because you gotta look at it. They taking money out of my pocket.
Out of your baby's mouth.
Exactly. So it's
exactly.
Oh man.
So
as soon as he see a new player that plays his position come in the locker room, he should do it.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yo, is Joel?
Damn, don't do all that now. Don't do all that.
What?
Oh God, here we go. Waza!
Snarf is a drop. Snarf is his own drop.
So let me see what else.
This is what I say to all.
Crazy. My new name is Daniel Jones. My new name for Daniel Jones is.
And this is what we gonna do to them when we go to the link with Tudo.
You gonna scoot him?
No, that was a slap.
Oh, you slap. You know what? Give you a smack. But Sonny, that's what Sonny said on Bronx Tale. Get out of here before I give you a smack.
There he is.
Smack, clap, clap, jelly jam shake.
Oh, he made it home. He made it home.
Uh-oh. We live, baby. We live.
Live and direct. Uh-oh, somebody getting cursed out on live stream. Who that?
It ain't me. It ain't me.
Mm-hmm. Damn for me.
I'm in my little back cave.
But I'm by myself, so.
He said hey, Coach, if that's at your house, there's a real problem going on.
Exactly.
Right. Oh my God.
So that's going on at your house, man. Somebody in trouble, cuz.
Yeah, basically. So, but yeah, go ahead.
Nah, man, I'm just looking for big things from this team this year. I want us to make a deep playoff push again this year. Let's see if we can get to the NFC Championship game. Hopefully we face the 49ers or somebody like that. That'll be a traditional battle in the NFC. That would be dope. The hell is that?
Coach, I got mine too.
Oh, it's a Vicks inhaler. Yeah, it's a Vicks inhaler.
Oh, okay.
So, instead of getting the Vicks vapor rub, you get the inhaler, and it helps your nasal passage. And when it gets hot,
oh, you got the little round stick.
Yeah,
the little stick. Yeah,
stick.
Yeah, no. See, when it gets hot,
stick it in your nose.
Yeah. See,
hey, look.
It just kills me. It dries, and I start to. And if it's too dry, my nose will start to bleed. So, and I'm on blood thinners, so I can't take that chance.
Okay. Hey, Lou, is that a green screen or is that
This is my wall, and this is the medallion from the draft.
Oh, you got the light in the background.
I got the blue lights on the ceiling, and I got the light off in the room. All I got is the LED blue light on.
The
Yeah,
wall is light gray.
I'm gonna have to ask you how I set that up too.
Like, so watch this. Change it green, red,
Oh man, I think my internet tripping.
blue, flash.
Yeah.
So we'll go to all of them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, high tech.
Yeah, that's dope. I'm gonna have to ask you how I
The
set that
soundboard. I
up.
got a new mic coming. Studio, bro.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna have to make a trip out to what are you in South Carolina?
I'm building a full-fledged studio. I'm gonna start interviewing people in-house. North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Why you keep trying to put
Can
me
you
below
guys
the
hear
Mason
me?
Dixie line, man?
Yeah, I hear
we
you,
can hear
Dad.
you.
We hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the internet acting bad
I
over
said,
here
why you keep
because
trying to
of
put
the
me below the
storms and
Mason Dixie
everything.
line?
What about the Mason Dixon line?
He said, "Why you keeping?"
Jay keep trying to put me
moving
below the
down,
Mason
y'all?
Dixie line. I'm in North Carolina.
Oh, they in the South.
Technically, North Carolina is still below the Mason-Dixon.
I don't know where the fuck that
And
Yeah,
you're out.
you
See, I
technically,
told you. Some people don't know when to be quiet.
technically, I get it. I get
Get him out of here.
it. Yo,
Get
Joel,
out of
what's up,
here.
bro? What's up, Joel? You still there?
He's pretty. I thought that was Joel.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was Joe
Oh, he's
too.
there. He's there. He just said something. He's there. He's there. He's there. He's there.
He's going down over there, at Joel's, man.
No, I
He's going down.
got nothing to say, and I ain't fighting with people. So
Huh?
He said he
I
don't
got
have nothing
nothing
to say.
to say, and I'm not fighting with people. So
No, but we happy to have you here, Joe.
Well, Joe's on that mannequin, apparently.
Yeah, he's
no, high on pot, high on life. I don't care anymore.
Well, you better care. We need you, Jim Carrey.
I'm getting my house. All right.
Huh?
I'll tell you everything. For the past 10 years, I've been paying this guy $300 to $350 a month in lot rent. Well, come to find out, right as of now, he's got 30 days to fix the things around all of them, or they're going to come down and where the fuck am I going to stay?
wow.
Do you want any more? I mean, it is what it is. I might not be on. So,
Oh, well.
Man, Joe. So what is he not the landlord, or I mean, he is, but he didn't fix nothing, and the city is saying that he's got 30 days to fix it.
Kim's better to explain it. Like Kim.
All right, so the owner of the trailer park has not been doing maintenance. There are at least 5 septic tanks here. Every single one of them is destroyed. The septic's been leaking here in the park. Code enforcement's been down here. He now has code enforcement. He has DEC. He has health department.
All of them.
He has the watershed for the lake that's close by because we're right next to the river, which feeds the lake. So he's got all kinds of fines stacking up, and he had 30 days to fix it, and he hasn't done anything. He only has like 20 more days to get it all done, and code enforcement will probably shut down the park, which means everybody in the park has to get out of their trailers.
Damn.
Where we're going to stay?
We've been here for 10 years, and come to find out, the trailer we were buying from him, or we bought from him, never had a CFO, which is certificate of occupation, which means it's illegal also.
he tried to cash that check and it couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't been by anybody's place in here
Yeah.
for rent.
Rent's due, and he hasn't even bothered to ask anybody for rent. Everybody is wondering if he's like disappeared because now nobody knows what's going to happen.
Sounds like a con artist. I mean, one of two personalities. One, he has a con man. Or two, and this is just me going off on a possible guessing game.
Well, be fucking quiet, okay? Thank you.
No.
Was it? No.
No, it wasn't a con. He's been here. He's lazy. He wants to cut corners whenever he wants.
He's a slumlord.
He had the old code enforcer in his pocket, and the old code enforcer was just so busy because he had so many towns that he was dealing with that it slipped through. And the new code enforcer, because they split it up and hired more code enforcers, isn't going to let him get away with it.
And so there's no kind of law or nothing that they can't just. You can't just.
I know. I can live here.
You can't just
I
displace.
ain't paying him rent. He ain't accepting any rent.
No, I'm not. I'm saying when the state comes and takes over everything,
they can't just put you guys out.
Yeah, they can't just displace you. They can't.
Well,
That's like
Alan's got to pay for us for a place to stay. Well, if he disappears, what do we do?
It falls on the state.
And now they go up. I gotta find me a place to stay.
Well, a lot of that's going to depend. So, like the things like the septic and everything, they may like start seizing his assets or try to find him, and maybe they'll fix it, and everybody can stay. But the CFO on the trailer, the certificate of occupation, this trailer is not going to pass no matter what, which means we're going to have to get out. But by law, the landlord, because he sold it to us, would have to put us up in a hotel, make any repairs to make it pass, that it can be passed, and then we can move back in.
But he's MIA.
To do that, he has to pay us back everything we've paid him for the past 10 years.
But I mean, he doesn't even have the money or the time to pay the stuff that he needs to pay himself. So I mean, it's basically SOL on that part.
We don't know all of that yet, though. I mean, maybe he was making preparations, and people can't move as fast as he wants them to move. He's got to wait a week or so.
If he was going to, from what it sounds like, if he was going to make a move, he would have been at least trying to make some moves.
Right. You would think
but I mean,
would.
you
And
can
if
make
he's
phone
not-
calls and make payments, but that don't mean the company's gonna come out the day you call them. I mean, they
No,
got-
Alan, what?
I get that. And that's what I was thinking. If he had called, I'm answering Lou's question. If he had called and he had started to make things to get the septic tanks replaced and stuff,
the fact that he ain't taking no payments and picking up rent.
Right. He would at
something
least
else,
be telling the code enforcer, hey, I've got the contract. They'll be out on such and such a day.
There's
He's
been no
dodging the code enforcer. They were here for all day waiting for him to show up. He won't answer his phone. He's not showing up.
Oh, yeah,
And they think he's starting to dodge them altogether just so he doesn't have to do anything.
And that's what I'm saying. Because he sounds like he's not trying to handle his business. Because I mean, if you were trying to fix the situation, or if you were actually doing things to fix it, you would be relaying those messages to everybody else and to the people that were coming after you.
Right. And the only reason why me or us and like one other person, couple of other people in the park know is because the septic tanks are right in our yard. So we knew about them being here.
We quit yelling.
I didn't know if the mic could hear me. He hasn't actually told anybody else in the park either.
Oh, wow.
Zach just picked that up. I'm not yelling.
I'm sorry. I didn't think I was yelling.
That's silly.
He sounds like a genuine slumlord scumbag.
Yeah. Hey, here's
Y'all
what
need to go file a lawsuit before the 30 days is up. That way you have an injunction in place in court to where they have to intervene and do something for you because you already have an injunction. You already have a petition in place.
Me and them have been talking about getting a lawyer and doing that.
we're better that it's a community talking about getting a lawyer.
You're gonna have to, but y'all need to jump on it quick and do it
Yeah.
before the 30 days is up. That way, when the 30 days is up, you already had a legal procedure in place, a legal procedure taking place, so they can't just force you out.
So
right now it's all up in the air. The code enforcer doesn't completely know everything on how it will happen. I know if it doesn't get done within the 30 days, he's going to red flag the trailer park, but he doesn't have an answer on what happens to everybody in the trailer park.
Wow.
Well, I want to get a lawyer tomorrow.
Right. Whether it falls on the town to get it fixed and get it safe for us, or
Yeah, I mean, because they can't just make you leave for something that you paid for, like that. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's not, yeah. That's why you're.
Can't do that.
That's why you're renting, is because the people that
this is not Nazi Germany yet. I mean, we're getting close, but it's not there yet.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be they're gonna have to reimburse you your money for the trailer that you paid, and
plus interest.
Yeah, and I'll say it looking like this: if you guys were planning on moving, might be a blessing because now
I
you have a
can't
huge
because
down
she's
plan.
got to work up here. She has a job.
I understand that, Joe, but what I'm saying is, let's just say they have to put you guys in the hotel for like 4 to 5 months, and you get your money back.
What do you mean? This place is mine. It's got to be done to my satisfaction, and then I can do whatever I want with it.
That's
so,
what you were saying, Joe.
Right.
First things
That's
first.
what I'm saying.
First things first. First things first. You're recovering from all types of medical conditions that happened last year. God willing, thank God you pulled through, and you're on the upswing. Okay. Do not let all of this stress you.
This and that,
Do not let all of this stress you into
I don't want to
another
talk about
medical
it on the
condition.
radio or
Okay.
YouTube.
Okay.
Off stream.
Yeah, I forgot we were still live. I'm sorry. Guys, make sure you subscribe to all of these great content creators and check us out. Sunday we'll be live. Saturday we'll be live doing the UFC. But guys, until next time, man, y'all already know what it is.
Ain't no chatting, no liking, just action. All my just front like these hatching. You already know. Popping. Ain't no stopping me now, steady rocking. Watch them hate on me now cause I'm locked in. Watch the hate on me now cause I'm popping. I ain't stopping.